during my time at the university, one of the students, they had their private photos leaked. And it was a really terrible time for them. And someone told me, like, like last week when that so-and-so's photos leaked, they tried unaliving themselves. And I'm like, so it's that serious. It's that serious. And the person who did that, when someone is releasing your private photos, maybe this is someone you are dating, and then maybe you ended up parting ways. And then they feel like, she consented, she sent me the photos, but now I can share with someone else. But that's not how things work. The Data Protection Act, it says that just because I've shared a private photo with you, I've not given you the authority or the consent to share it with the wider public.
Exactly. It's non-consensual sharing of personal information, what they like to call it revenge porn. But it's not revenge porn, because when that info was being created, it was not for porn purposes.
Yes.
So you have leaked my information without my knowledge. And as you say, we need to criminalize, because some lives are being destroyed as we watch. Do you know how many leaders, aspiring leaders have been pushed off because of online violence, and they decide, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And remember, the agenda of the trolls is what? Is to silence you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And already we are struggling with 2/3 gender roles, which I think, anyway, it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. You need to be able to use different social media platforms for different purposes. You need to be able to understand which platform is beneficial to you and which one is just too toxic. That even if you're using it, use it using an anonymous profile. You don't need to publicly share your photos there. You don't need to publicly share all your information, your location. And like personally for me, I use different social media platforms for different purposes. Like for Instagram, close friends and family, it's private. What I post there, I know it's safe. For LinkedIn, professional posts, advocacy, TikTok, business, strictly. So in a way, I'm able to make myself safe using the digital space and avoid toxic cycles.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting and informative episode of Digital Data Podcast. I'm your host, Cecilia Maundu. I'm a broadcast journalist, a digital security trainer. My work lies at the intersection of technology, human rights, and journalism. I'm also a tech-facilitated gender-based violence program specialist. And today with me in the studio is such an inspiring young lady, the Gen Z, who are really making strides in this space. And I'm so excited to have her on the bench today. And I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. Daisy, welcome to Digital Data Podcast. Finally, we have you here.
Thank you so much, Cecilia.
Yes.
My name is Daisy Anyanga. I'm a disability activist. Former Persons with Disability representative at the main campus, University of Nairobi. I currently work with DDI, that is the Disability Data Initiative. It's under the South African Medical Research Council. We are basically conducting research on disaggregated data for persons with disability in Kenya and Sub-Saharan Africa. And I'm also working with Raya Trust on the Agenda U2 project. Yeah.
So Daisy, tell me, to start us off, how did you get into leadership role when you were in campus?
Oh, so when I was in campus, actually I didn't even think about vying per se, but I was approached by my friend and then they said, like, there's this team, they're looking for a PWD rep. Are you interested in joining them? And I'm like, this is something I can do because even when I was in high school, I was also a student leader.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it just came something automatic to me. I didn't find it hard. Yeah.
Okay. So, what inspired you to take up on leadership roles, especially when we know the environment that we are in, especially when it comes to women leaders, and also the university that you went to? I mean, we are alumni of the same university, so I know, like, during campaign season is cutthroat, Yeah. So what inspired you?
Just I felt a sense of responsibility for other persons with disability in the university level. I felt like I can advocate for them and I can be able to raise issues, given that I don't find it hard to speak out when things are going wrong or when things are going right, and we want more of that. Yeah, so it was just easy for me to do that. And I also had a very good support system while in the university. My friends, my family was supportive. The administration was supportive. So it was a nice experience. But during the campaigns, it was tough. I didn't anticipate what I faced.
We'll come back to the campaigns, but I think also what I'm getting from you, it's very important to have a very supportive system when you're trying to run.
Definitely.
Yes, because it's not a one-man show for sure. Yes.
Yeah, you can't manage alone.
Yeah, so let's talk about tech-facilitated gender-based violence, which is something we really talk about here on Digital Dada Podcast, and we find it very important that we speak about healthy conversations online, healthy spaces online where we can express ourselves without being attacked. And you're our first guest, a PWD guest, and we are so proud because we know you're one of the vulnerable groups that go through this kind of violence. So technology can create amazing opportunities, and we know it. I see you're very active online, but also risk. Can you share what technology TFGBV has looked like in your experience, especially as a person, as a PWD?
So TFGBV, as a person with disability, when I was doing my campaigns, we usually do campaigns in the WhatsApp groups. We create posters and we have like, what do you call them? Chats and pages where you post your manifesto, what you want to do, what you want to, and why people should vote for you. So when we were doing the campaigns, surprisingly, you find someone is commenting nasty things like, hey, this team, why would we vote for you? We don't believe like a person with disability can be a leader in this university and all that. And when it was happening, I didn't know it was TFGBV. I just thought, when I was telling my colleagues, they were like, this is normal. Kutakuwa leader is like a rite of passage in your end. Lazima ukujiwe, lazima utusiwe. They criticize even the little thing, like what shoes you're wearing, where you're from. And people were also like trying to find information of where you're staying. Like, they're going around asking, do you know her? Who are her friends? Is she doing well financially? And they want to get all the information about you so that they can find something little to just to use it against you, And what I did is, I think I had a good team. I keep on saying that. And they just told me, like, you just wait, we're going to handle it. And so we had our own bloggers. So in this team is coming for us. We also have our own people who are responding. Because when you're doing campaigns, you're usually told that don't engage with the bloggers. You don't want to ruin your reputation. Don't engage with them. You have your own bloggers. Watch out. Watusiane. But you just watch, you become a bystander. But it also affects someone, because I was thinking like, what's the essence of doing all these things? If people are just coming for me, they don't know me, I didn't do anything to you. And the person who is texting you is a pseudo account. Even if you're searching the number on M-Pesa just to find their name, it's not registered. It can even be your friend who is doing that. You're not sure who is doing that. That's the thing about TFGBV, anonymity. Yes. You cannot be able to pinpoint exactly who is this, unless maybe you go to the authorities. But when it was happening, I didn't even think like, I can go to the police and raise that issue or go to the school administration. It was never a thought. It was just like, let me ignore it. But it reached a point I was getting anxious, even coming to school. Like, I don't know, it just creates this self-doubt within oneself. And I was thinking like, what are these people thinking about me? Did they see what they said in that WhatsApp group? They say like, and they even saying like, you're dating so and so. I don't know what this person you are saying. Why are you going for my sexuality and my relationship status? Yeah, so it was quite challenging.
You see, everything you talked about is like, there's a lot of similarities. And I think also one of the things that I would really want to know when it comes to your mental well-being, how was it during that time? Because you see the way you said, people tell you, this is just normal. But inside you, you know for sure it's hurting, because hate hurts at all level. Even when a stranger comes to you and tells you they hate you, there's a part of you that wonders, why would this person hate me? Especially, they don't even know who I am. So how was your mental well-being in that? And is there a particular story that you remember that really shook you and like, oh my goodness, what is this?
Yeah. So mentally, it was a really sad time. Thankfully, I didn't get depressed.
Thank God for that. Yeah.
I think this is the good thing about having people who are speaking out on your behalf, supporting you. And they made sure, my team, we had a very good team of political strategists and campaigners. They went and they talked to those people in those groups, and they said like, if you're from this so-and-so team and you're coming for us, we're going to find you. It's not going to be nice. And okay, personally, the first few times when I was seeing those messages, I felt so bad. I think I cried once because I'm like,
And it's okay to cry.
and it's okay to cry, you know. Being a psychology student, I understood that this person is just projecting what they're going through.
Exactly.
Because if you feel good about yourself, you're not going to write nasty things about someone you don't know just because you're not supporting the team they're vying from. You know, you can just agree to disagree in a respectful manner. Why don't you speak about maybe what we are going to? Our manifesto doesn't make sense. That's a better approach of looking into things rather than coming to me as a person that you don't even know and making up lies. You know, yeah.
So is there a story that you remember that really shook you during those times in the campaign and actually made you realize like, oh, do I really want to be part of this? Is it even worth my mental well-being?
Yeah. So not personally, not for me, that affected me, but our team. So we had some of our teammates, they're a bit older, and the comments we were frequently getting is, "Hii team ya wazee." We cannot.
By old, you mean millennials, because you know.
not old, that old, but 27, 28. And then
Oh
for
my
us,
gosh.
the
So
other
not
ones,
even
we are
millennials.
22, 23, you know. So usually the teammates, we are usually young leaders. But our team, for our vice chair and our international rep, they're a bit older, they are married, they have families, you know. So late 20s there. And then us, me, I was 22. Yes, I was 22. And the other teammates were still the same age as me. But for the other our opponents, they use their bloggers to come and attack us based on the age, like ageism. Why would you vote that team? Kuna wazee, they're not young like us. Sijui nini. I'm like, of all the things you can look through,
Yes.
that's the only thing you can pinpoint. Yeah? You've attacked someone's disability status. Now you've attacked their age. You've attacked the sexuality. You've made up lies. So and so is sleeping with who and who. People that don't even exist. They're making up names. Because I think there's this thing about sexualizing women who are interested in public life and politics. It's a tactic that they usually use. And it's common. Actually, if you go to UN and ask any person who has vied for a leadership position, and she's a woman, she's going to tell you that, hey, they made up stories about me. They want to make the people view you as a promiscuous person so that they discredit you, so that you don't get votes. Yeah.
And I think more that problem is all over the world. You know, like women are meant to feel lesser beings, especially when it comes to the issue of like when you are accused so and so is sleeping with this person, so that they use that to discredit you. And that brings up to my follow-up question. As a young woman living with a disability, do you feel that your experience online are different from others, and in what ways?
Yes, it's very different. Just based on the fact that you, as a person with disability, people can use that to mock you, to question your ability to do work or to just do anything. So people will always use it as something to degrade you. Yeah, people will mock you just because you're disabled. Not that I personally experienced it, but I've seen it with other fellows who are persons with disability. Even if you go on TikTok comment section and you see the comments, someone is saying like, sikutaka kucheka lakini no umefanya nicheke, just because someone posts themselves, maybe they're dancing, maybe they're talking, or maybe they're in a relationship. And the people are feeling like, just because you're a person with disability, you're not deserving. Like, you're not supposed to be in this space. You're supposed to be tucked away. When you're coming online, you just want to see the perfect life. You want to see persons without disabilities. So,
yeah, I can imagine. How did these experiences affect your personality, especially emotionally, and even the lens that you look at in life in public? Because when I look at you, I imagine one day I'm gonna see you TV, holding a public office. So how does this affect, your outlook on that?
At first, I really wanted to isolate myself. I didn't want to interact with people. I didn't want to engage with anyone because I was not sure, like, whatever I'm going to say, is it going to be used against me? Is this person really genuine when we're speaking, or, But with my team, with the support that I had, and the good thing about me is I spoke out. when I was facing this, I didn't just shut myself
that is
down
so
and
good.
hide. No. I was telling my team, hey guys, did you see this? They're saying, yes, we saw this. But you know what? We're going to handle it. You just chill. And they did. Actually, they did. You know, the good thing about your end, we settled scores. We settled scores. So that was handled.
Yes.
And after that, I think I gained more confidence because, you know, I know, like, even if you come for me, I have people
Who are behind
who are
me.
behind me. Yes. So you do your worst. But me, I also have my people, and they're going to speak up on behalf of me. Yeah.
So, as a follow-up question, do you is there training for TFGBV for people with PWD, just to educate them about it? Because, as we said, the internet is very powerful, and I feel like you can use it for a lot of work in advocacy, even for the work that you're doing. So, while you're on the online platform, also, do you educate your members on it about how to handle TFGBV? What are some of the things that they need to do when they're going through it?
Yes. So when I was a student leader, I got introduced to this project called Transform Digital Spaces. It was by USAID and Gifted Community Center. And through that, we were able to do trainings and workshops at the university. I was personally responsible for conducting those trainings and mobilizing participants. And I also brought persons with disability and also students without disabilities in those spaces so that I'm able to also understand that this thing affects all of us. It's not just for persons with disability. Even you without a disability, you can face TFGBV. So through that, that was in 2024. We did that project up to, I think, January 2025. Before it came to a halt, you know, what happened. But from that, also with IREX, I've been doing trainings with them on TFGBV, bringing my friends along, and also sharing the information that I'm getting in WhatsApp groups. Someone that I meet, and maybe they're telling me they've shared a similar experience, and I'm telling them, like, hey, there's also resources out here which you can use to decompress that feeling you're getting, that anxiety. There's so many things you can do to be able to cope in a good manner. Yeah.
And to my next question, when it comes to the issue of support and digital safety, because as we talk about TFGBV, you can't separate TFGBV with digital safety. When you experience the harassment, what kind of support system were available for you, especially in terms of even platform support, you know, like even psychosocial support now that you are a psychologist yourself?
So when it comes to platform support, I think that's the weakest link ever. Because when it was happening in the WhatsApp group, and there's a feature for reporting those messages. But when you report, nothing happens. You just read the text, we've received your report, and that's the end of it. That message is not being removed. And also in UN, we had this channel. It's called the UN Gossip Channel. That group, they used to write all sort of manner of things, and we tried so hard to report that channel for it to be brought down. It still exists up to today. Yes. But I talked to the admin. The person reached out to the WhatsApp page, to the Instagram page of the UN Gossip Channel, and they told that guy, please never write any stories about me unless it's factual. I don't want to hear hearsay or so and whatever. I don't take it nicely, what you're doing, and it's actually affecting me mentally. I don't feel good when I'm seeing such stories that I know that are lies. And he apologized. I think it's a man who's running that page. And from there on, I've never seen my name on that channel. He stopped posting nonsense about me. But for others, they're still facing the same thing. Maybe they're not bold enough to go and reach out to this guy and tell him, like, you need to stop. Otherwise, I'm going to take action.
But how is TFGB viewed, TFGBV viewed in the lens of young people, now that you people are very young?
I think it's not taken seriously for us young people. When you're seeing online violence, people just take it as a joke. And if you're trying to raise the issues like, why are you so serious? Mbona nakasirika sana? Si alikuwa tu ana joke. Even if you're going to this comment section and someone is saying something nasty to someone else, obviously there's someone who's also defending who is being abused, and then another person going to come like, mbona unaona, like, it's not that serious, you know? So wache tu chill. But you're not realizing the effect of that nasty comment you made on that person. You're just seeing it something easy.
So do you think it has been normalized?
It's normalized. It's normalization.
And what can we do? Okay, you now that you're a leader, what do you think we can do differently?
I think we need to raise more awareness. We need to help people understand that this thing, this nasty comments, this online violence you're perpetrating, it goes beyond just leaving that nasty comment. The psychological effect. People just take things seriously when it's physical. They can see the scars. Maybe you're beaten up. But it's something that is psychological or emotional. People are not able to see it per se, unless maybe they're there with you and expressing it. So I think we just need more training and awareness. And also, we need to criminalize online violence. We need to criminalize it.
Exactly.
And also our laws, they need to be stricter. And also our law enforcement agencies, they need to take this matter seriously. Because I'm sure if you go to the police station and say, oh, someone said, I'm stupid in our WhatsApp group, they'll tell you like, huh? We have serious cases. What are you telling us
about? Somebody said one time they went to the police station and they're like, oh, this person abused me on Instagram. And the police officer is like, oh, what did you do to them for them to abuse you? So you don't... Anyway, I'm sure there are organizations which are actually educating them on matters on how to handle these things. That's for sure.
Yes.
The next question. What role do you think digital safety education plays in helping young people like yourself stay safe online? Have you ever been in a digital safety class?
Yes. Yes, I have been. Recently with Young Women Leaders Connect, they had a digital safety training. And we are told about the safety tools that exist also on these platforms, how to keep yourself safe, and also what features you can implement to make sure that your time online is not does not make you vulnerable to abuse. So we are taught things like how to set secure passwords, how to privatize your profiles. Maybe if you don't want people to snoop on your profile on Instagram, maybe you can just close it, make it private just for friends and close family. And also setting two-step authentication. So people don't hack your account and start posting things that you don't necessarily agree with. Because people do that.
And also there are different tools that you can use to be able also to minimize you be tracked online. They, using like the Brave browser is very good. Using Signal, which is a secure messaging app, that, especially when you're communicating sensitive information. Someone like you is a public figure. You don't post everything on one platform. Separate your platforms. And also sometimes I believe there is something that we really need to talk about. Exactly what are you posting online? Sometimes I think we overshare without knowing it. And unfortunately, sometimes that information can be used against us. I'm not saying you self-censor yourself, but just know any information that is out there can or might be used against you at some point, especially if you're a public figure like yourself. And let's talk about advocacy, which is most of the work that you do. From your perspective as a student leader, because always a leader. What changes would you like to see, especially in universities or policymakers to better protect women and girls and vulnerable groups online?
Yeah, I think we did a policy, especially at the University of Nairobi, specifically for TFGBV, that is going to make it illegal for opponents to perpetuate online violence during campaigns. It's possible. I think we were in talks with the university administration and they're saying they had a similar talk with other organizations. I don't know which UN agency that was, but the University of Nairobi, they have a gender policy. So we wanted, in that gender policy, maybe they can also include clauses on TFGBV, and so that can be used to enforce during the campaign period to make sure that the campaigns are safer and they are not violating other people's rights, So I think the administration, it has the authority and just the duty to protect all students at the campus. And also we need these students. They need to be educated and they need to realize what they are doing and the effect, because they don't take it seriously.
Exactly. And you see, TFGBV is as lethal as physical violence. There's this, the way you've been saying it, oh, no, don't take it seriously. They've not hurt you. What do you mean? They have literally injured me emotionally. And just because it happens on the online platform, it doesn't make it any less real. It is. And do you know how many leaders, aspiring leaders have been pushed off because of online violence, and they decide, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And remember, the agenda of the trolls is what? Is to silence you. Yes. And already we are struggling with 2/3 gender roles, which I think Anyway,
Yes,
it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
So despite these challenges, you continue to lead and advocate. What motivates you to keep going?
I think it's something that needs to be addressed. That's the main motivation, because I've faced it. I know what it does to someone. I know that TFGBV can make you question your self-worth. It can push you out of spaces that can really be beneficial for you. And you're just self-silencing. You're limiting your public participation. Now you cannot even raise issues that truly matter, not only help me and others, but also, the general public. So I understand that if this thing is not addressed, the severity of it is really bad. And also some people also, like, they end up trying to take their own lives. It's that bad. It's really that bad, because also during my time at the university, one of the students, they had their private photos leaked, and it was a really terrible time for them. And someone told me, like, like last week when that so and so's photos leaked, they tried unaliving themselves, and I'm like, so it's that serious. It's that serious. And the person who did that, when someone is releasing your private photos, maybe this is someone you are dating, and then maybe you ended up parting ways, and then they feel like, she consented, she sent me the photos, but now I can share with someone else. But that's not how things work. The Data Protection Act, it says that just because I've shared a private photo with you, I've not given you the authority or the consent to share it with the wider public.
Exactly. It's non-consensual sharing of personal information, what they like to call it revenge porn. But it's not revenge porn, because when that info was being created, it was not for porn purposes.
Yes.
So you have leaked my information without my knowledge. And as you say, we need to criminalize, because some lives are being destroyed as we watch. You know, spaces are becoming very unsafe as we go on every day. So what message would you like to share with young women like yourself and girls who may be facing similar experiences, and especially the PWD community?
I'd just like to tell them that you need to speak up, speak out, and don't close off yourself. Don't let it nag you. Don't be, I don't know how to say it, but feature. Don't hide it, because when you're hiding when you're facing these challenges, you're not helping yourself in the long run, because it's just going to affect you even more. Unless you address it, that's when at least you can get reprieve from that, So you need to speak up and seek support from your friends, from your families, and also seek other options. Maybe if you need to go to the police, please do. If you need to seek psychological counseling, please do. If it's going to make you feel better, maybe to take some time off from social media, please do.
Yes.
So it's good to just address it when it's happening. Don't wait. Don't wait.
And I like what you said, also taking time off social media. We're not saying you move away, you vamoose, but we mean like digital detox. It's so important sometimes to take time to take care of your mental well-being and analyze this thing. But we always tell people, please don't go, please try and come back, because the internet is for all of us. You understand? And I think there's a book I was reading, and the writer said there is no better time to be alive than now, because the internet has given us such massive opportunities. You know, so if you're pushed off the online platform, meaning you're missing out on what we call the digital dividends. So what would be your parting shots today?
The parting shot will be like, you need to be able to use different social media platforms for different purposes. You need to be able to understand which platform is beneficial to you and which one is just too toxic, that even if you're using it, use it using an anonymous profile. You don't need to publicly share your photos there. You don't need to publicly share all your information, your location. And like personally for me, I use different social media platforms for different purposes. Like for Instagram, close friends and family, it's private. What I post there, I know it's safe. For LinkedIn, professional posts, advocacy, TikTok, business, strictly. So in a way, I'm able to make myself safe using the digital space and avoid toxic cycles.
Thank you so much for making the time to be here. As I said, you are our first PWD guest, and it's so good because I know, as I said, it's one of the vulnerable groups is your community, and it's important to be able to speak out, because I always say this is also a platform where we collect data, and if we are to create good policies, because good policies are informed by quality data. So thank you so much for making the time here. And I hope we can continue to advocate for better online safe spaces, healthy conversations online, and just try to make sure that we close this issue, because I feel like TFGBV gets worse with each year. While we think we are getting closer to the solution, then it takes another turn. So indeed, it's such conversations that are helping us make it, speak out and advocate for it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Yes, we've come to the end of our show today. Daisy was our guest. You've heard her story. And I think one of the things that I've really picked from her is, the urge to keep going. Even when you're going through in the midst of all, as a young leader, she is still standing, still advocating for issues that she believes in. One of the things that TFGBV does is silence people, but she has refused to be silenced, and that is the spirit. Thank you so much for joining us. See you in the next episode.